Yet another twist in the New York City mayor's race. New reports that the White House is trying to clear the field and give their preferred candidate, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, running as an independent, a better chance of defeating the Democratic nominee, Zohran Mamdani. Politico reports that White House advisors have discussed giving a job to current Mayor Eric Adams if he quits the race. Here's how Mamdani reacted to that on this network last night.
I think it's outrageous. This is an affront to our city's democracy. This is an affront to the values that make so many of us proud to be Americans, that we could choose our own leaders, not that our leaders pick themselves or their friends. When Donald Trump has taken SNAP from hungry New Yorkers, has passed legislation that would throw millions of New Yorkers off their health insurance, that we have Democrats in Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams working with this administration to try and subvert the will of Democratic primary voters right here in New York City.
Let's bring in Matthew Dowd, senior MSNBC political analyst who was a chief strategist for the Bush-Cheney 2004 campaign. Joining me here in studio is one of the authors of that Politico reporting, Emily No, co-author of the New York Playbook. So a spokesperson for Mayor Adams, won't surprise you, put out a statement. It says this, in part, at no time did the mayor ask for, nor was he offered a job at HUD. And if the HUD job does open, Andrew Cuomo held that position before and can always continue where he left off. Now, you also report that Adams didn't directly deny that there was a meeting when he was down in Florida recently. But you have to wonder, if he doesn't drop out of the race, are there other ways Trump might want to put his finger on the scales? This New York mayoral thing is getting a little crazy.
A little crazy is an understatement, but we have spoke with multiple people in President Donald Trump's orbit who say that he doesn't want a Democratic socialist as the mayor, that he will do almost anything to keep Zohran Mamdani out of office, which actually benefits Mamdani when it comes to churning votes, turning them out among Democratic voters. If you are Trump's preferred candidate, that doesn't work very well for you in deeply Democratic New York City. And at the same time, we have Cuomo saying that he's not the preferred candidate, that if anything, Donald Trump would want Mamdani in office to antagonize him. So yes, the City Hall does deny that Adams was offered a position at HUD, but we do have reporting that says that is what's on the table here, that Adams and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican nominee for mayor, be offered positions in the Trump administration as an incentive to get them out of the race, clear the path for Cuomo.
So let me go to you for a second. I'll come back to you on this, Emily. Matthew, should Mamdani, who went on the network last night and said what he said, and understandably said what he said, should he also be writing a thank you note to the President of the United States? Is this actually putting the fingers on the scale for him?
Well, yeah, I would be sending a thank you note if I were him to Donald Trump, because the best thing that he has going for him is the way to coalesce the Democratic Party base behind him. And that was the weakness that people thought he might have. He's been doing that, but this is going to put that on steroids. And if he coalesces the Democratic base, in my view, there's no way Andrew Cuomo can beat him in this. And it doesn't look like Curtis Sliwa, I think that's how you pronounce his name,
yep,
is going to drop out at all. And in most polls, the person that is preventing Andrew Cuomo from getting close to Mamdani is Sliwa. And getting Eric Adams out of the race might help a point or two. But right now, he's behind. Andrew Cuomo's behind by 15, 16 points in this race. And so I do also find it ironic that not only is this move helping, in my view, Mamdani, but if you think about this, one of the most corrupt White Houses in our history, where we have a president who's been credibly accused of sexual harassment, is trying to hire one of the most corrupt mayors that they had, and Eric Adams is the reason why he's behind the polls, in order to help somebody that's been accused of sexual harassment. So it is quite the ironic sort of stream of events. But in my view, everything about this news only helps Mamdani right now.
You can't make this stuff up, Matthew, that's for sure. So, Emily, Cuomo's campaign, do they think it can help? I mean, do they think they can make up this difference? Obviously, the polls weren't perfect in the primary, which many people thought was essentially the race itself. What are you hearing from that camp?
So there's public facing. I was just with Cuomo before I came here to studio, and he's trying to make a story about Mamdani, why he believes Mamdani's not qualified to run the city, why he believes he's a better candidate to stand up to Donald Trump. Conversely, we've had reporting by Politico that in the Hamptons, Cuomo has spoken with wealthy donors and said that, you know what, Trump doesn't want Mamdani. Who does he want? You know, and the implication is it's me. So there's a lot of different narratives going on, and people are spinning it as they wish. But we have Mamdani, Matthews right, polling way ahead of Cuomo. So even if the field is cleared, I don't expect that Curtis Sliwa will drop out. It's an open question about whether Eric Adams is going to accept these offers. Even if all these candidates do clear the path for Cuomo, there's no guarantee that he can defeat Mamdani.
So, Matthew, Politico reports this is not a one-off. Trump and senior White House aides in recent weeks have privately and sometimes publicly steered Republican candidates in House races in Iowa, Michigan, New York, and Senate contests in Maine, Iowa, and North Carolina in hopes of staving off contentious primaries and shoring up swing districts with Trump-loyal candidates. Look, putting the fingers on the scale from the White House is hardly unprecedented. Is there any downside for the president in all of this?
Well, the only downside is he's going to face a midterm election where it's every sign is pointing against him. And so as he puts his finger on the scale, he becomes more and more he becomes part of the story, which one helps Democrats in 2026. And I think it'll help them in 2025 in these races in an off year that will help him. But the other thing it does is it puts Donald Trump, it basically means he's on the ballot. And so any losses by those Republicans are attributed to him in the course of this. So whatever short-term benefit they think they get, the wins that are against them in a midterm election with a president with low job approval numbers are so strong. None of those things are going to help. And as I said, the only thing they're going to do is make Donald Trump front and center. And there's nothing more Democrats want than make Donald Trump front and center in an election.